Okay, we're back, and things have been going kind of hot and heavy here. It's been a Friday night, and we've both been exchanging a bunch of moves. Uh, Let me catch you up. It is now the Russian movement phase, but there's been a lot going on, and I will catch you up right now. Um, Zoom in here. I was able to move my infantry from the reserve spots on up around, and unfortunately, the only Soviet Union forces that were out of supply is this unit here. Now, the rest of these units are able to trace the supply route to this railroad hex. It has to be 5 hexes long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that barely catches them. I was able to move my exploitation phase and get my army units down here with a nice zone of control, negating this Soviet rail line. So with these guys here, all able to trace a supply route 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down to this hex right here. Other than that, you can see I moved some armor units on up here, ready for the attack. What else did we do? I positioned my air units here. I also repositioned some air units here and air units here. Another thing that happened was my opponent was able to, on his first turn, he's only got 1 unit capacity for rail movement, so this rail unit, or that unit there, was moved on up. I think from quite a ways, from down around here somewhere. Might even been around here. Other than that, my opponent's been lamenting the fact that the original general who got fired, or whatever you want to call it, didn't have no. Well, he's got some Marines down here for amphibious assault, but he didn't use it. But he was lamenting the fact that there was no paratroopers in any hexes with air units, or very few Marine units in hexes with naval units, so he couldn't conduct any paradrops or naval invasions. And like I said, that's the way it is whenever you got a change of ownership. They always badmouth the person who was before them. That happens in my fantasy baseball league too. We have guys that take over teams, and they're always bitching about the previous owner. Most of the time, they drop all the players and start over. But that's the way it is. Other than that, I don't see anything I really need to update you on. What else? I think that is going to be about it. It is the Soviet movement phase. We've already conducted the supply check, and there isn't much that really goes on this first turn for reinforcements or anything, so we were able to skip a lot. Like I said, he did have a Marine unit down here that was with the naval unit. He was maybe going to do an invasion around here, but I think with the marshes and everything, pretty well chickened him out of it. But that is it. We will be back for some more Soviet movement. First turn, Russian front. Alright, I had to make another note here because you may see some differences in these screens on these hits. We had to do some battles over earlier because we forgot to add the +1 to the first turn surprise. So it kind of changed some hits and everything, but this is the update. What it looks like. Mainly, what I was able to do was move those reserve units up through here. I mean, this is the limit of where they could have moved to, and this infantry didn't quite make it to Riga. But I left my army unit in there just so they wouldn't take it back, and the main thing I wanted to do was use these zones of control to cut off the supplies. But yeah, that's just a little update on that. We got a little bit of hits back on some of those attacks from the German units because we forgot to imply that first turn surprise +1 die roll modifier. But other than that, I think we've been using the rules pretty close. I'm sure we'll miss some things, and we really haven't had no disputes. I think the only dispute was when we had that unit that had to retreat, and he couldn't retreat. But other than that, compared to what we've been through on the search for opponents, like I said, once you get to playing the game, it goes along really smooth, and there's no reason for all those goofy delays. So we'll be back at it. See what kind of resistance the Soviets can put up. There's no more first turn surprise +1 die roll modifiers for the Axis units, or the Germans mostly. And the surprise is over. Time for a Soviet response. This is the before, and we'll show you the after. Well, you're back with more updates. I can't see my pointer here, but I don't think we'll need it. I can zoom in on the spot. We had to move we moved the Soviet naval unit during the transfer phase. Something I noticed on the Vassal screen that I didn't update, but he went ahead and moved from, I guess where that Gulf hex is, just down here. So a little update. Gets away from me after a while trying to transfer everything, and a lot of times we're behind on the board actually what's going on at Vassal. We got more moves coming in, and we will proceed with the Soviet ground unit movement phase. Be back. All right, got another little update for you. This is you can see I had to take down the old Armageddon War. Yep, Armageddon War's up on the table. We went ahead and finished that playthrough, but we didn't film it. I didn't film it. It was getting a little bit too hectic, and it was just kind of a late night play. But this is what you call the rules table. And this here's the basic game rules. And right now you can see we're looking up on the basic game movement, ground movement steps. But you also have to go over here and get onto some access withdrawals and all that. What we're really looking up down here is the advanced game movement phases. So just going through all the rules. Like I said, it's kind of the way I got this set up is here's the rules table, the official rules table, and it's next to the big game table. You gotta have a lot of room for this stuff. So luckily I got a nice little big old section here in my man cave, and we can take care of it all. But yeah, that's what you got set up here, and we'll be back. All right, hello everybody, welcome back. We are ready for some more Russian front, and I've been up all morning, and I think I've got everything synced with Vassal. Now it might have been a while, and I want to get you updated. Right now, we are looking at the pre-Soviet, or it's already been the Soviet ground phase, and we've all moved our naval units. We're right now looking at the phasing player's air movement step, and that hasn't happened yet, and I'm waiting on his moves here on the way, but let me get you a little bit caught up. He's already moved his ground units. You can see here with the battle markers, these aren't actual battles. They're just units laying mines, as per my original opponent. These, as a matter of fact, I don't think there's any mine sweeping missions, if I'm mistaken. Don't 100%. I think these are all mine laying missions. So we got mine laying missions going on over here. There's the way he's moved his forces. You can also see what's going on here. I think I'm laying mines there in what is this? Riga. So I'll be laying some mines there at Riga. And like I said, there's no naval units in the same hack, so I don't think there'll be any naval combats. But this is the way he's moved his units and prepared for the attack. So we'll just see what's going on here. I believe those twos down here are his units. Like I said, it's hard. Those might be mine. Let me see here. No, they were his, yeah. Oh, it's hard to get in on that. Yeah, them are all Russians with the hits. So there you go. That's how he's moved them. Now, a lot of these units, we have used what's called strategic movement. And he was, like I said, he was complaining that the other guy didn't even have the foresight to put his units. You always want to kind of like start your units on rail hexes, because you can move them double their movement points if they begin and end. It's not in German zones of control. So if they're nowhere near a German unit, you can move them double their movement points, called strategic movement, optional rule. And he's used that quite a bit. Now, like I said, his only unit This unit here is the only one he's brought up from the. He's only allowed one unit movement factor on this first turn, so there's a lot of restrictions on this first turn. But this is pretty much what he's done. Let me see if I can zoom back on out here. Down here, I don't see any attacks. I mean, you know, through all his movements, he hasn't gone and attacked. We've got no attacks. We got 4 mind laying missions, and that's it. So the Russian has not chosen to attack any of my units. He's all on defense. And you can see there's kind of a little bit of no man's land. He's kind of pulled back. So I don't think there's going to be any combat initiated by the Russian player. Now we can see he's still got exploitation phases and air phases and everything else. But I went ahead and programmed all his moves, and this is it. This is what it looks like now. I do see a little bit of a gathering of forces here, so might be a sign of things to come. But he's did some air transfers, and that's about it. Now another thing to make note of is I've not converted any rail hexes yet. So that's about where we're at right now. He's consolidated up north, didn't really move too much. Yeah, like I said, he's got some Marines heading someplace and some paratroopers, I think, heading towards some bases with some air units. So I'll have to be on the lookout for airdrops and invasions. But that's about it. Now I did move a naval unit out of here to support. It was a Finnish unit into this hex in case he wanted to initiate any combat, but I don't think he is. And even around here, he didn't initiate. There's nobody in my hex, and there's no battle markers, so I don't think the Soviet player is going to respond. It's all defense for him. This is how he got it. This is how he got his forces. I don't know if moving the camera like this is helping or hurting, but anyway, we will be back. He's got some air units to put on. I think I'll show you his air units after I find out where they're at, and we'll make it an upload. Good Russian front. Today's a good day. We'll be getting a lot of moves, so the uploads will be coming. Be back. All right, just want to give you a little update here. Just checked out my opponent. He's got himself a little. See what that Battle 5 marker is. Well, what he's actually doing is optional rule. He's employing what's called strategic bombing of my oil field. So I might have to make me a little interception there with my area, but I just thought that was kind of curious. The guy's on it. He knows his optional rules, and it didn't take that long. Like I said, didn't have to give him a test. See, everything, we're just doing it as it goes along. If there's any questions, we talk to each other. But we know each other, so that's kind of cool. Although I really haven't never talked to the guy. We just email. So that is about it. And what we'll do here now is over here in the battle card under Battle 5, is you put a 1 there to signify that he's actually strategically bombing my replacement factors. So I won't get that many replacement factors if his air unit can survive, if it still stays. I think I have me a air unit somewhere around there, yeah, that I can, but it looks a little bit weaker than his. What's his attack factor? Yeah, I'd be attacking with a 2, he'd be defending with a 2, so be quite the air battle. We'll see what goes on. This was a great game. I'm having a great time. I knew I would, just looking over to the rules and everything on this Russian front. So hey, break out your Russian front, people, and play. It's a good game. A little bit more on strategy here. I don't know if you've seen it, but like I said, it looks like he's building up along the border. He's got some armor units. Everybody else is heading to the front. That's as far as he could have got them. Like I said, he used strategic movement as much as he can, keeping those units on the rail lines. Also, you got to get your armor units into the cities to get them refitted. So I think he's got a couple armor units that we're heading towards some cities too. So you got to remember that on these rules. But that's what it looks like. We got some more air unit placements. I was just going to let you know on that. His first one, didn't know if he was going to use any air units because he didn't have no battles going on, but he's taking advantage of that strategic bombing. And we got a little bombing mission going on over the oil field. Be back. Love and life with some Russian front on a nice kickback Sunday. All right, we are back, and let me see if I can't get this a little bit better here on a focus, but no, I guess it'll be all right. All right, well, he went ahead, and I think that's his only move was to attack my oil field. Now you can see my air unit is gone from what's this city down here, Bucharest, and I moved it over here to the old battle box. So we're gonna have this little air combat going on there, and if he succeeds, then his strategic bombing of my oil field will be complete, and I'll suffer one less replacement factor. And like I said, I looked that all up, make sure it's all to the T. But as far as that goes, he kept his powder dry, and really didn't use it. I'm really kind of out of range, so he didn't use any other air units. And as a matter of fact, I didn't really use any either. I might take another look here, though, at these air units up here. I got a bunch of air up there, so I was mostly going to keep my powder dry and just use my air units as close air support during my combats. I got a whole bunch of 2 units there also. So that 3 represents my fleet engaged in mine-laying operations. There's no battle there. So that is it. We were done with the air phase. It's air, land, and naval combat here in Russian Front, and it's all 3 aspects, combined arms. It is a great, it's a good game. We're having lots of fun with it. And my opponent's no slouch. Like I said, he's done bogged me down already, and I need to make time. Time is of the essence. And I play this game a bunch here with my old Panzer Group Guderian. So it's kind of the same thing, you know, to push on up through. There you're going for Smolensk, and on your way to Moscow. So we'll see how my strategy goes. I'm putting all my eggs in one basket and making that rush to the capital. We'll see what happens. Be back with an update. We're going to call this an upload. Hope you enjoy it. Leave your questions and comments, our strategy suggestions. Be back.